Agricultural pollutants are any biotic or abiotic products of farming practices that lead to the contamination or the degradation of the ecosystem. Such farming practices that lead to harmful effects on humans and are detrimental to their economic interests. Biotic causes of pollution refers to living organisms. The common biotic causes of agricultural pollution include biopesticides, invasive species, and biological pest control, among others. Abiotic pollutants refer to non-living substances or products that affect or influence the environment and ecosystem. Some of the most common abiotic causes of pollution include pesticides, fertilizers, and heavy metals, among others. There are 5 causes of agricultural pollution. The first, and most popular, is pesticides and fertilizers. Once they have been sprayed, it does not disappear completely. Some of it mixes with the water and seeps into the ground. The rest of it is absorbed by the plant itself. As a result, the local streams that are supplied water from the ground become contaminated, as do the animals that eat these crops and plants. Second is contaminated water. Much of the water we use comes from groundwater reservoirs, canals, and through the rains. While plenty of it is clean and pure water, other sources are polluted with organic compounds and heavy metals. This happens due to the disposal of industrial and agricultural waste in local bodies of water. As a result, the crops are exposed to water which has small amounts of mercury, arsenic, lead, and cadmium dissolved in it. The process of agricultural pollution becomes harder to fight when such water poisons livestock and causes crop failure. The third cause is soil erosion and sedimentation. The soil is comprised of many layers and is only the topmost layer that can support farming or grazing. Due to inefficient farming practices, the soil is left open for erosion and leads to declining fertility each year. Whether eroded by water or wind, all this soil has to be deposited somewhere or the other. The resulting sedimentation causes the soil to build up in areas such as rivers, streams, ditches, and surrounding fields, and so the process of agricultural pollution prevents the natural movement of water, aquatic animals, and nutrients to other fertile areas. The fourth cause is livestock. In the olden days, farmers would keep as much livestock as their land could support. The cattle, sheep, pigs, chickens, and other animals were fed natural diets, which was supplemented by the waste left over from the crops. As a result, the animals contributed to keeping the farm healthy as well. As of now, livestock is grown in cramped conditions where it is fed unnatural diets and sent to slaughterhouses on a regular basis. As a result, they add to the process of agricultural pollution by way of emissions. The fifth and final cause is pests and weeds. Growing exotic crops and reducing the natural species in a certain area has become the norm for agriculture. However, it is simply adding to the process of agricultural pollution. With the arrival of new crops, the native population has to deal with new diseases, pests, and weeds that it is not capable of fighting. As a result, the invasive species destroy the local vegetation and wildlife, altering the ecosystem permanently. This is especially the case with genetically modified foods, which create plant and animal species that can wipe out the existing species in a matter of years. While there are 5 causes of agricultural pollution, there are 2 effects, the first being health-related issues. Agricultural pollution is the main source of pollution in water and lakes. Chemicals from fertilizers and pesticides make their way into the groundwater that ends up in drinking water. Health-related problems may occur as it contributes to the blue baby syndrome, which causes death in infants. Oil, degreasing agents, metals, and toxins from farm equipment cause health problems when they get into drinking water. The second effect being on aquatic animals. Fertilizers, manure, waste, and ammonia turns into nitrate that reduces the amount of oxygen present in water, which results in the death of many aquatic animals. Again, bacteria and parasites from animal waste can get into drinking water, which can pose serious health hazards for various aquatic life and animals. Keep agricultural pollution in check is much harder than it seems. For the farms to become clean once again, levels of water, soil, and industrial pollution have to be kept in check. Over the last decade or so, governments have become stricter about enforcing regulations. Farmers are also becoming more aware of the damage and are looking for solutions. Eduardo Mansur, director of FAO's Land and Water Division, said, "In most high-income countries and many emerging economies, agricultural pollution has overtaken contamination from settlements and industries as the main factor in the degradation of inland and coastal waters. Acknowledging we have a problem is the first step to finding solutions." Projections suggest that by 2030, emissions of ammonia and methane from the livestock sector of developing countries could be at least 60% higher than at present. Agriculture is also a source of air pollution. It is the dominant anthropogenic source of ammonia. Livestock account for about 40% of global emissions, mineral fertilizers for 16%, and biomass burning and crop residues for about 18%. The harms of agricultural pollution can't go unnoticed. It is important that we learn the facts, understand the issues, and act appropriately to diminish the harm that agricultural pollution is forcing us to face.